Welcome back, Fancastic listeners. Who wants to talk about CAS today? You got to raise your hand, guys.
I do.
Maybe I
I do.
want to talk
I
about
do.
CAS.
I do.
We're
I do.
talking about CAS today, and our listeners want to hear about CAS. And who better to hear about building a CAS practice than an actual practitioner? So we welcome Allison Steiner. Allison, welcome.
Thank you for having me, Kristy and Christine.
Yeah.
And of course, Christine, our
Darn it.
resident expert. Hi, Christine.
Hi guys. Yeah, thanks so much, Allison, for being here. We enjoy these conversations. Christy and I are all things podcast castic.
Yeah, we are. We're fantastic as individuals for sure. We're going to jump right into this discussion. Allison, you are from Dean Dorton, and right now at the firm, you were telling me that there's a big shift from compliance-driven work to advisory-driven work, and we want to hear about that. We want to hear about what you're going through, the decisions being made, the people, the process, the technology. All of it that's important to build a solid and successful CAS practice. So I'm going to, like I always say, no one's here to listen to me. They want to hear from you and they want to hear from Christine. So, Christine, I'm going to hand it over to you to start the conversation.
Yeah, no, I think that's a fantastic opener. So I think you already asked the question. So Allison, yeah, tell us how things are going, what you're struggling with, kind of, your story. What's your story?
That's my
Your
story.
story, Allison.
You know the story. I've only been doing CAS since, I don't know, 2013, or I think so. Yeah, so we're with Dean Dorton. Our CAS practice, which we call AFO, is 60 members. We have one lead member, a director, and then there's five of us at the next level, and then the rest of us funnel down from there in kind of a traditional CAS hierarchy. Service couple distinct industries. That's one thing where I think we really excel. We do a lot of work in the equine business. That's our home office is in Lexington, Kentucky.
Oh,
Nonprofit, healthcare, construction really align with the rest of the firm's industry group. So one of the pushes, I suppose, one of the things that the firm is working towards as a whole is really figuring out how we can all be better advisors to our clients, right? Our client, they need us for certain things, but they want us for other things. And so what are those things and how do you do that? And how do you collaborate on that across service lines? How do you teach it? How do you encourage it without making it seem, you know, fake or artificial? How do we make that organic shift from simply being great accountants to being great accountants and really great advisors, helping our clients thrive and move forward in their businesses? So that's where we're going.
Yeah.
Might take a while to get there, but we're getting
Okay.
started with core values as a firm, as a department, a service line. We're really looking at processes and really breaking those things down so that we can be more nimble. We can be more, shall I say, profitable,
Yeah.
and really, you know, engage our people, right? Because nobody really likes to spend that much time just kind of checking boxes and recording bills. They like to build a relationship with the client and see where they can take it for the client's benefit. So
Like most firms, I assume you guys are working into that advisory space, upskilling, elevating your clients, your team into that. What are you finding are like your biggest hurdles in accomplishing and doing that? Because I mean, it's just it's it's nationwide, right? I mean,
I would say it's the definition. It's of what it is, right? What does it mean to be an advisor to your clients
yeah,
as an accounting firm? I think it's the education, right? So there's an education piece both internally and externally. You and I both have had clients, Christine, where we've fallen into as much of teaching our clients about how to be in business and what to do in business as we have about just kind of taking care of their books. I think the other thing is there's this alignment of between the market and our firm, right? What does the market think it wants? What does the market actually need? And how do we get there, right? How do we listen in close enough to really identify the client's needs?
yeah,
And then when you're in a firm like ours, a large firm, multiple service lines, all probably could have have an opportunity with a client is really then being humble enough to discern, these are that client's three primary needs.
Right.
And maybe CAS isn't the first one this time. So yeah, it's a big undertaking, I think, but it's kind of fun. Like, this is the fun part of doing what we do.
It is fun. So what are you doing to upskill your team?
Oh, do I get to say it? Well, we have a few pilots in the Infinite Ties staff and senior accountant program. And we really did that. Can't I give a commercial?
Oh yeah,
Because for
sure.
the
Not
first
a
time,
commercial. If this is
we
what's
have,
helping your team members along, you talk about
well,
whatever you
I
want.
mean, I've been around for 10 years and always looking for that training track that aligns with what we do for our clients, was just a little bit different than all the other classic training tracks in accounting. So um, for definitely our consultants, senior consultants, we have a few people piloting that as a way to upskill their sort of basic accountant advisory skills, but also start to train them up in how CAS is different. What does CAS do that audit doesn't do and tax doesn't do? I think the other thing we're doing is we're always focusing on technology. What can we do to make certain things easier, certain things faster, so that the human components, we have more time to spend on those. People process. Process is the other big thing. Like, what can we do to streamline these transactional processes? Again, to free up time to get the humans involved in doing what AI cannot do, right? Which is build a relationship with the client, listen to the client, interpret what the client needs, and come to some sort of, plan what we're going to do next. So
Right.
Can we go back to people? Can I ask a question? Christine, are you cool with that?
Yeah, of course.
And I'm not the expert, but I have a question. So when we talk about people, a lot of what I hear from firms trying to build a CAS practice is that the soft skills are an issue. So these these professionals that were once sort of behind the scenes and doing CAS when it was considered client accounting services, the back office stuff, they now have to come forward and have these discussions with these clients, these more deep data insight discussions. Are you having trouble there, like mentoring people up, or are you really focused on their soft skills? Because it's a different game with client advisory services.
it is. It's not a fit for everybody, right? Because there is that component to it. Obviously, I like talking to people, so that's a plus, right? So I think finding those that like to have it, and then you got to include them in on all the other low level or high level discussions so they can see it modeled. I listened to a podcast yesterday about that's. I mean, that's, I think, one of the things that is, kind of been minimized, or it's hard to create in the hybrid environment. So we have to be super intentional about including them on different kinds of conversations with clients, or even internally with those, higher up than us, so that they can see how those professional conversations go. But also they need to know that we don't, like, this is a conversation. Nobody has all the answers to all the problems. And
Yeah.
learning how to kind of tap dance around the idea of, I don't know, but I'm going to find out for you, in a very
Yeah.
tactful way that encourages trust in the client. So yeah, doing our best to, whether they understand everything or not yet, but to just include them on, and just let them hear it, right? Let them
Yeah.
hear it,
Exposure.
and over and over and over again with
Yeah.
different people. So
Yeah.
We
Makes
always
sense.
like when we consult with firms too, it's like bake that into your fee, because I want everybody that's on that client engagement on every call, right? Because to your point, Allison, that's how they learn. That's the only way that we all learn, right? Repetition over and over and over. And we don't have all the answers, but it's what do you say when you don't have the answer? And, what does that sound like?
well, and letting them answer the question, right? So, we kind of have, I would say, a relationship manager model, where we do try to have quarterbacks that help manage all the different ways the firm touches the client. But if the client asks a question that is directly to the person who is, processing and overseeing all the AP, let that person come up with the answer and communicate back to the client, right? That doesn't need to go up and down and all around. Let them have their level, I would say, of engagement with the client. Watch over their shoulder, teach them how, make sure they're, you know writing appropriately and speaking appropriately, I guess. But just let them kind of have those opportunities to build their confidence that what they're doing makes an impact on the client, and they can explain it to the client and have a conversation about it. So
I know what we've been trying to pivot in, in the CAS space within Infinite Ties and all the training that we're doing is to say, you bring information and data and questions to the client. Because when you're bringing that to the client from an advisory perspective, you generally do have the answers, but you're also just asking them questions and you're kind of just flipping that script onto them where you're feeling more proactive and not reactive, whether you're able to answer their questions or not.
right. I also encourage a soft close at any level. Like if you've got 30 minutes of downtime, it is not much to log into the client's accounting system. Just take a look at where their financials are looking at right now, right? Like just do a comparative. You might catch something that, yeah, you'll catch it at the end of the month, but it might be easier to just do it now. And it gives you an opportunity to touch the client before the end of the month, when at the end of the month it feels more like an interview and an audit
Right.
rather than a
Proactive.
relationship.
Mhm.
So
Or it should
yeah,
be like step by step. It feels like at the end of the month rather than like you're saying, like a conversation and what could turn into something that's advisory.
yeah. I mean, and they might catch something. Invariably, we catch one thing, right? A prepaid that we didn't expect, or new huge fixed asset that we didn't expect. So yeah, let's figure out ways to, touch the client a little bit other than just when they're expecting us to give them, the deliverable, shall we say. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Being proactive speaks volumes to the client.
Yeah, exactly.
Every client I've picked up from another accounting firm, my entire time doing client accounting services, the number one reason has been lack of responsiveness or lack of just product. They didn't bring me a new idea. They didn't,
Right.
they didn't point something out to me.
Yep.
And, it's not rocket science. Because we'd be rocket scientists, right, Christine?
Right, exactly. Probably
I mean, I don't
cool.
mean to offend anybody, but I think it's just, and they're busy doing a whole nother side of the business, all the other sides of the business that we don't see.
Yep.
So, they're not opening up their accounting
Yep.
records at the end of the day for the excitement of seeing what happened. Absolutely not.
Yeah. So this brings me just to I just would like your thoughts on this as I just feel like everything's just moving faster, right? And we say all of those years and all the years that we had, Allison, of listening to those conversations and growing up in public accounting, I always try to say like for the last 30 years, but not try to age myself at the same time, um, is that we had all of that time and now everything's just so just catapulted into this, we gotta be an advisor tomorrow, and
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
yet now we have this crux of all of these, staff seniors and managers too, that are having to learn this so much faster. What's your thought or take on that? Because I think I'm like, how are we gonna get there as a as an industry
As
quick?
an industry. Well, I think it's letting people learn at the level that they're at. Letting them have that client interaction at the level that they're at, or and figuring out what that is. So for example, I guess like at the AP level, let's make sure their AP is really clean all the time. Like, let's not, we all kind of sometimes get a little lackadaisical, right? So let's just put some procedures in place to make it clean all the time. And when you see something, say something, right? So I think it's a building, but I mean, I think the big thing is trust, right, Christine? The biggest thing is we have to be able to trust them a little bit more to maybe make a mistake in trying to do something right. Progress over perfection.
Right.
Great is the enemy of good. And just, probably let them learn the way we did.
Which was a totally different, like, the way we learned, we didn't have HR, so there was nothing, it was like you got thrown to the wolves is what we called it, and
Oh yeah, and you had a lot of paper, right? I mean, just so but also don't panic. Like I have that at the top of lots of pieces of paper, right? Like don't panic. Things didn't go wrong overnight, so they're not going to change overnight. And if we're choosing to do something differently, make sure we understand why.
Right.
So why are we going to choose a different piece of technology over another?
Right.
Why are we going to choose to train our people one way over another? So I love change. Probably my worst quality. I love new stuff. I love shiny objects. I love going to check them out, but you got to be able to get to the end of it and go, that's not the best thing right now. So I guess in summary, something about got to trust our people to, give them, give them opportunities to flex. And I know when I've done that, it's always paid dividends because that means I get more time
yep,
to do something else, that old concept of leverage. But also let's be intentional. Let's, got to learn how to shut out, discern between what's noise,
right,
and what's impactful, and
Yeah.
just, yeah, just be patient and let everybody, decide what pace we have to go at. CAS goes at a way different pace.
right,
Sometimes it is flying by the seat of our pants, and I think we need to, put the brakes on and just
right, yeah.
yeah.
I like
Yeah.
what you said about, like, just the responsibility, accountability. Michelle and I were, just having a conversation this morning of, how we created accountability in our team, and we were trying to decipher, was that attributes that they came to us with, or were those things that we taught them along the way? But I think it's exactly to your point, was, we held them accountable, but we empowered them at the same time, knowing that they were going to make mistakes. And I think that's just a really hard thing to accept and say, yep, you're going to make a mistake. We back you up, but we're gonna have you communicate what that mistake was to the client, because I promise you, you're not gonna make that mistake again.
Yeah. Well, it's incumbent on us, right? It's succession planning. You've got to train up the next group. Like I mean,
Right.
there's no option here.
Who else is going to
I'm
do it?
not working till I'm ever, I'm not working
Right.
forever.
Yeah.
It was
Um,
like success. I remember the day, like, it was success. We had it was summer, and we had all of our team members, we had a meeting, and it was like, okay, we're gonna cover for you guys, while you're out. And they were like, please don't. Please don't. I would love to just log in every day. And we're like, you're on vacation. We're protecting your time. And they're like, it stresses me out more to not do that. So it was like this dichotomy of, do but they were like, no, I own it. It's my responsibility. And it was funny because it was like, I don't want you to screw it up. And I'm like, we won't screw it up, I promise. But
No.
well, see,
that's
there we
success
go,
though,
right?
right? That's
But
success. But you have to let them learn, and knowing that they could make mistakes, and that's okay.
yeah, but despite that, that's a good sign because hopefully the reason their motivation is because they care about the success of the client, right?
Yeah.
Like they
Yeah.
care about keeping that going
Yeah.
for the client. Not hopefully not too much self in there, but yeah, that they understand what we're doing and the dependency of the client's business on what we're doing. So yeah.
So what's your take in this inundated world of AI and technology and all of the vendors that are in our space? What's your take right now on the whole tech stack when it comes to CAS and the AI functionality within it?
Well, at my point in my career, I could just go, I'm done. I could, just say, yeah, you guys learn how to do that and then teach me. But no, I've been playing with it internally, but also externally. Like, what can I do to improve my analysis? And what things can I now analyze quicker with AI that I kind of was like dragging my feet on because it would take so much time to combine these two Excel anyway. So I think it's another tool, right? It's going to it can take away some of the mundane tasks and make them a little better. It's a time-saving tool um, internally, but I think externally, what we always have to consider is like, okay, how can we make our work product and our deliverables better, right? We don't want to just tell the client, hey, we use AI to create everything. The client's going to go, oh, AI is not that expensive. So I'm just going to use AI. That's not the point. So you have to learn what it is, because you have to be able to answer your client, how about AI? What can AI do? But also then find where your experts are. So, Dean Dorton, we're blessed with a pretty, stout IT business consulting group. And so they have a lot of AI initiatives. We have a fractional AICIO who's kind of helping us internally figure out all these things. So you can't ignore it. You do have to kind of figure it out, but I think again, it's like evaluating any other tool that we are going to put into our tech stack. Be intentional about using it and know what you're getting out of it. I've been in long conversations with the agent trying to get to where I want it to be.
Right.
Sometimes it takes 30 minutes. So it's not like you plug it in an AI and the answer's there. So, we still have some real basic tech stack, QBO and Sage, Bill.com, Gusto and other payroll providers. So our core tech stacks are still pretty simple, or kind of what I guess you'd call industry standard. But we are trying to figure out what can we do better
Yeah.
with the possibilities that AI offers.
It's interesting. I went down this rabbit hole this last week on AI and the impact that it's costing companies, like really large companies. I don't want to, it's like, because it's like allegedly, I don't want to use
It's amazing
names,
how much money.
where they're like, they are using so much of the AI tokens that it has by far outpaced, the cost has by far outpaced the people that they let go to take down that AI. And so now, I don't know, I'm really excited to see, especially in the CAS space, well, this is going to flip, because I always say, like, AI is never going to replace your relationships. And now
Yeah,
we're seeing that, right? And now you have this higher cost than you did the people. And what AI has given you still isn't that personal relationship and that advisory aspect of what CAS professionals are doing.
yeah. The free market's a funny place. I think it always catches us. What looks like is going to go one way, but I mean, there's always a trade-off. I think recently there was a op-ed piece in the New York Times from ahead of one of the big investment banks, and he's just like, yes, it's a reality, but on the other hand, and he did point to, now that we have AI to help us with all these low-level tasks, I can hire more people in relationship banking. I can hire more people to talk to our customers. I can hire more
Yeah.
people to talk about our services, right? In a meaningful way to a customer, a prospective customer. So
Yeah.
it is that old thing, right? You either got to embrace the change, figure out how it works, or if you stiff arm it, you're just going to get caught. You're going to get caught off guard and behind the curve, on the downside of the curve, running uphill. Which at
Exactly.
my age, I like to run uphill.
Yeah. So I'd love to ask you, because I mean, my list is long, long, but for the listeners that are building CAS or new to CAS, given that you were an early adopter in this space, what do you feel like was your biggest, learning that you would like to share, that you just, I mean, I have a list of failures, but like, would you like just give as advice?
A whole list.
A whole,
Whole list. I, I guess be patient. Like, take it as it comes. Early on, you take clients that you just kind of are like, I just don't. But you kind of just got to try, right? Because it's always a learning experience, right? Whether it's learning what to do or it's learning what not to do.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I think, yeah, there's that. And I think you just got to have your real confidence in what you're trying to achieve with your clients, right? I don't think I ever went in and said, I'm going to make everything perfect so that you don't have to
Yeah.
think about any of this. I think I always went into, okay, here's where I see you're at right now. And here's some things we should look at, right? Here's some things that you should consider changing, whether it's process, internal controls, whether it's getting certain groups of people talking together. And just kind of take it as it comes. I'm not sure it's you can force what you want to do next. And so think you do have to take work that you probably don't want to take because that's how you get to the next one. That's how you kind of build your own skills, build your firm's reputation, figure out what you're good at or what you have in your skill set and the people around you. So and if it's not fun, like I mean, all my clients, I have the ones I have, and the ones I've had. For the most part, I've really enjoyed just getting to know them and watching them, thrive. And sometimes that works us out of a job. Sometimes that works us into another job. But
Yeah.
it really is the fun side of what I would call accounting and finance because you can just really build a great relationship with people along the way that, some of them, stay around and come back around with a new business, right? So,
I love that because we always say, well, if you're going to go after an industry niche and you don't have one, find something you like and love to do and that is going
Right.
to excite you and
yeah,
build around that.
nobody really likes construction, but I'm married to a contractor, so I kind of
You have no
got
choice.
Everybody in this space has their own weird, like I loved medical accounting. Like I don't
Oh,
know
we got a whole group. Yeah. Runaway Allison. Yeah. No, I did it a couple times. I'm like, oh my gosh,
why. You're like,
give me a whip schedule. Give me a whip schedule right now. But yeah, no, it your life was meant to be fun, and that even applies to work. Yeah. So find something that really gets your juices flowing. So
And building relationships is what gets most of our juices flowing. We are in a relationship-based profession,
yeah,
and when I'm in front of my clients, it's so much better than when just
yeah,
behind the monitor all day. Like, I love it, I get fulfilled, I get passionate about it, and that's really at the core of client advisory services.
yes.
A lot of firms I talk to are so passionate about building those relationships even deeper.
yeah,
I took I took one of our consultants out. We have a client, a logistics company, who are developing a new warehouse, and so I said, "Hey, let's just go grab a box of sandwiches, and we'll go out to their warehouse, which is many, many, many thousand square feet. It's huge. I mean, they're really building to grow, and we're just kind of in this area where they have an office. It's like an open office, and half the people are walking around on phone calls. And we kind of stood there and had say, and he had a great time because the client was so excited to show us what they're doing, show us the plans for the office, show us the plan for the warehouse. And so all of a sudden, all those invoices that he creates every week and processes every week, and the close that he does now makes sense, right? And now you can see why they've had such growth. This is how big they are physically. So
Yeah,
that was a lot of fun.
that's
I
cool.
enjoyed doing that kind of stuff too.
I love
So
it.
Did you get lost in the warehouse? Sounds really
we
big.
didn't because it's still largely empty. We considered doing forklift races, but I didn't want.
Ooh,
That's
Yeah,
yeah, that would've been a little dangerous, but that would've been fun. I would've been in on that for
I
sure.
know. We did not do it.
Forget foot races, I'm not running. I'll pile drive race for sure.
No, thank you, ma'am. But yes, equipment, sure, why not? But
Yeah,
yeah, good. It was good. He enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. Client enjoyed it. So.
awesome. That's awesome.
that's something AI can't replace. AI is not gonna go visit a client on their site, right?
No, and, AI could probably help them, in scaling out what their forecast needs to be based on square footage of it,
Sure.
but, yeah, it's a really yeah, so,
Well, good.
yep.
Well, Allison, we thank you again for joining us. This is fun. It just, gives listeners just perspective of, your experience. I always say like it's experience and what they can learn from you, but then it's always like kind of like this misery loves company because when we all get together, we are all like, oh man, we're not doing this, and we have it, and you're like, no, we're in a common space.
Yeah.
We're all
I think we're all doing great things. We everything can be better, absolutely, but we've got a lot of clients going in the right direction. We got a lot of great people moving up and moving out, moving out to, their own clients. So
yeah.
I call that all a win. So
CAS is in a
Awesome.
really exciting space right now. So, congrats to your success at Dean Dorton.
oh, thank you.
Um, we love having you as a member of Infinite Ties. You bring so much to our community and to our webinars and training. So thank you for that as well.
Well, you're doing a great job. So I love good content. So thank you.
Well, Allison, thank you for being our guest. Christine, as always, thanks for leading the discussion as our CAS resident expert. And Allison, I just want to say, thank you so much, because the more guests we can get on here, the more
Yeah.
active practitioners we can get on here talking about what they're going through, what they're doing, the
Yeah.
pitfalls, the wins in the CAS practice will help our listeners. So
All
thanks,
right.
thanks again for joining us.
Yeah. Thank you. That was great fun.
Thanks, Allison.
And listeners, keep coming back for more CAS insights. That is our promise to you. And this is Fancastic.